In this video, I'd like to help you fix a very common English pronunciation mistake that a lot of my Chinese students make. A very common question that I get from my Chinese students is to teach them the difference between words like thin and thing, or sin and sing, or run and rung. Generally, they don't hear the difference, and they certainly don't know what's happening in the mouth to produce those differences. So let me teach you that. First of all, let's talk about the letter N. When we have an N in the beginning of the word, for example, no, never, night, that's easy. The Chinese N and the English N are exactly the same when the N is at the beginning of the word. The tongue simply goes up and releases n, like that. No, never. That's easy, right? Also, when an N is followed by a vowel, that is also easy. For example, when we say Canada, we have an NA there, Canada, or banana, or annoy, that's N-O. That should never be a problem for Chinese speakers. The problem is when the N is at the end of the word. Let me show you what you have to do in that case. You need to move your tongue up at the end and keep it up. For example, watch this, can. The common mistake is for my Chinese students to keep their tongue down at the end of the word because it's not natural for Chinese speakers to move their tongue up at the end. So a typical mistake looks like this. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. Did you see what happened there? My tongue remained down and the back of the tongue went up. That's incorrect. Let me show you what it should look like. Yes, I can. My tongue goes up and there's an airflow coming out through my nose. Can. Two things, tongue up and airflow. Don't just do the tongue. Don't do this, yes, I can. Because in that case, you can't hear the sound. So it's not enough just to move your tongue. When the tongue is up, keep releasing the air through your nose. Can. Yes, I can. Let's practice some more words that have an N at the end of the word. Remember, this is not natural for Chinese speakers to do this. It's not natural to say seven or man. More likely, the mistake would be seven and man. It's like we don't really hear the N. We need to hear the N. Let's do a few more words. Man, nine. Remember, when there's a vowel that follows, that fixes the problem. So anytime there's an opportunity to connect the words together, make sure you do that. Make sure you link. For example, if I say, can I? We're not going to say, can I? We're going to connect that I to the N. And now the N is followed by a vowel. And it sounds like this. Can I? Can I? Can I help you? That's much easier to say than to say, can I? Right? Same thing, when I. A lot of my Chinese students, when they say, when I called you, when I did that, they do something like this, when. The N just disappears. To fix that problem, you connect the N with the I and you say this, when I. Now the N becomes a middle sound. And remember, the N in the middle followed by a vowel is not a problem for Chinese speakers. So when I is much easier to say than when we or when they, because that requires a consonant. It requires more concentration. And now let's compare the N with the NG at the end of the word. When we have an NG at the end of the word, we do not move our tongue up in the same way. We move our tongue in the back. So the back of the tongue is working and the front of the tongue is not doing anything. It's just relaxed. So let's do this. We're going to create a little G sound, which is g. It's going to be very minimal, very small g. So it's going to sound like this. Thing. We combine the N and the G into one sound. So now the N is in the back where the G is in the same place. You can release your tongue a little bit if you want to, and you can say this thing, or you can keep it up the whole time and just say thing. Listen to the difference. Thin, thing. Thin, thing. Sin, sing. Sin, sing. Okay, now let's combine two words. One has an N at the end, one has an NG at the end. Young son, young son. First I went up in the back, and then my tongue went up in the front. Young son. One more. Wrong one. Wrong one. That's the wrong one. All right, let's do another one. One meeting. One meeting. Now let's practice some sentences. That thing is thin. That thing is thin. He's lived alone for a long time. He's lived alone for a long time. He's a strong man. He's a strong man. It's 10 in the morning. It's 10 in the morning. I'm bringing it in. I'm bringing it in. When are you going? When are you going?